Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the top 3 home buying mistakes that first-time home buyers tend to make. If this is your first time to the channel, my name is Hasan Juma. I'm a real estate agent in Vancouver, and I make these educational videos that'll help you in your buying and selling journey. If you do enjoy these videos, it'd be great if you could subscribe and hit the bell notification icon. Without wasting any more time, let's get started. So the first mistake that first-time home buyers tend to make when they're looking for properties and they're ready to buy a home is, you guessed it, they don't get pre-approved. So getting pre-approved for a mortgage, contrary to maybe what other realtors think, I don't necessarily think it's the first thing that you have to do when you're getting prepared to purchase a property. But I do think it's really, really important that you get it taken care of before you actually go and view properties. And the reason for this is, without getting pre-approved and knowing how much you can afford, you set yourself up as a buyer, you set yourself up for potential heartbreak, really, if you start viewing properties before getting your pre-approval done. What I mean by that is, you're going to see these, great pictures on the MLS. You're going to start looking at properties, and you may think in your mind, you may say, oh, that's something that seems affordable to me. I think that's affordable. I really like the look of this property. I want to go take a look at it. And you pack up the girlfriend or the wife and the kids, and you head out to go look at the property. You fall in love with it. And only after you view it and after you get in a position to write an offer on that property do you find out that you're actually not able to afford it, you're not approved for it. And what ends up happening if you do that and you miss out on a property like that is, you start looking at the other properties in maybe a lower price bracket and you compare them and you say, oh, but it doesn't have the kitchen that that home had, and you start feeling a little bit disappointed in future properties that you look at. So the reason why you want to get pre-approved very early on in your home buying process is so you don't look at properties that are out of reach for you, which are going to make the properties that maybe are in your price range, they're not going to look as great to you if you start shopping around and viewing homes that are larger or newer. So you definitely want to get that pre-approval in, just so that you know exactly what you can afford to purchase and you don't disappoint yourself by viewing properties that are out of reach. The second first-time home buyer mistake is definitely not having your stuff together. What I mean by that, and it ties in a little bit to the mortgage approval, but sometimes we'll get the mortgage approval and the mortgage broker may be relying on some documents and you're thinking, okay, don't worry, I can get that into him at a later time. It's okay. Now that I know a general pre-approval amount, I can get this process rolling. Getting all your documents together and making sure your mortgage broker has everything you need is so important. What you'll find with the home buying process as a first-time buyer is, sometimes you spend a lot of time thinking about making the jump into home ownership. It could be something that's been a goal of yours for definitely months, but sometimes years as well. And you put a lot of thought into it. And when you finally make the decision to move forward and start that home buying process, things can move very, very quickly. And what I mean by that is, you may go to view a property, you may send an offer in, you get that offer accepted, and typically you'll have a subject removal period window. Now that can be whatever you negotiate, but sometimes it's 3 business days, 5 business days, 7 business days. And sometimes when you get that accepted offer, you think, oh, I'm in the clear, I'm good. We have this offer accepted and we're good to go. Now, mortgage approval tends to take the longest out of most subjects out there, except for a subject to sale, which I won't go through in this video. But again, you want to make sure your mortgage broker has everything he needs prior to you writing that offer, because what could end up happening is, you get the offer accepted. We've seen it happen a lot. And the next day or the next day, the mortgage broker is like, oh, I'm still missing your T4A, or I'm missing the statement of your investment income, whatever it might be. There's some documents that are missing, and 1 business day delay in that subject removal period can actually be the difference between you getting that home. So we've had it happen many times where on the final day of subject removal, we still haven't heard from the bank that the mortgage is approved. We then have to ask the listing agent if we can get an extension on the subject removal period. And quite often, if it's a busy market, if it's a seller's market, they may already have a backup offer in hand, or the seller just doesn't want to give you that extra time because perhaps they feel they can get more money. If they've been getting phone calls straight throughout that subject removal period, they might get to thinking that, okay, did we accept something too soon? Did we accept something too low? So making sure you have all your paperwork, all your ducks in a row before writing that offer, very important. And it's not your fault, but it happens a lot with first-time buyers is they don't realize that that subject removal period, it moves pretty quickly. And anytime you're working with lenders and banks and you're working on business days, it's very easy for things to get delayed in that process. So the third mistake that I think first-time home buyers make a lot is when they're shopping around for properties, they're looking for their dream property. And I'll say, like, as a first-time buyer, you're not going to purchase the home that you're going to spend the rest of your life in, typically. And you shouldn't. You should be looking for a home that you can get into that's going to meet your needs for the next 3, 5, 7 years, whatever you may expect it to be. But don't go out home shopping and thinking you're going to find your absolute dream home where, you know, your family is going to grow up in this home and you're going to pass it down to the kids, and it has to have every little thing that you've ever dreamed of in home ownership. The home ownership process and home buying process, it is a journey. You'll start here and you'll move into a different property after a few years, and you gradually will work your way up by building equity, by paying down your mortgage, and allowing you to get into larger and newer and more suitable homes for your family as it grows. So the mistake that first-time home buyers often make is they've been thinking about home ownership, again, for a long time, years for a lot of people, and they've been dreaming about what that home is going to look like, how it's going to feel. And don't get me wrong, that home should feel great and it should feel wonderful to you, but don't forget that it is just the first step in the process. There's nothing that says that you can't purchase that home, build some equity, upgrade into a more suitable home, maybe in a better location. So just try and be a little bit reasonable in terms of your list, what you need to have in that property, what you would like to have in that property. I think most first-time buyers, they make some sort of concession in some sort of way on their first property, and it's something that in their next property they address. So try not to get discouraged if you don't find that perfect home that you've been dreaming about for years and years and years. I assure you, if you stick with the home buying process and you pay down that mortgage, you'll be able to move into that dream property, but you won't be able to do it without taking the first step in becoming a first-time buyer. So I hope this helped you out and you got some value out of this video. If you did, I'd love it if you could subscribe and hit the bell notification icon. If you're looking at buying or selling real estate in Vancouver or the greater Vancouver area and you want to reach out to me, all my contact info is below. I'd love to help you out. Other than that, thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.